Hello peeps, and welcome back to another review with us, the Review Bros. And today we're going to be taking a look at this little gem here. Take a good look. It's Insane Labs' Psycho Sam, the Mad Chemist Edition. And it's promising pumps, energy, focus and psycho as an official claim tub. So it's actually claiming to turn you into a psycho, which I might need today because it's legs day, or legs day, however you want to chop it. So yeah, let's see how it comes together as we cover the usuals, the taste, price, label and effects. We did review the original ones back in the day, you know, when they were first coming up, or at least we first heard of them when we started the channel. And they were always known for being extremely potent from a caffeine / alpha-yimbine standpoint. So let's see if it's any different here. You know, I can only assume it's going to be even more potent since it's a special edition one or what have you. So stick around and let's find out if I survive, shall we? But if you are new on the channel, please do hit the like button, sub button, bell icons. It does help us out. The more views and interest we get, the more interest companies have in sending us products, and therefore the more reviews we can put out to you guys. Everyone's a winner. And we, as you know, we always try and copy you guys some good discount codes in the process. So yeah, let's get our psycho on. Okay, so first segment is taste and mixability, which I'm sure a lot of you full well know. And it comes in two flavours that I can see on the Cross the Limits website, which is who sent us down this pre-workout. So little shout out, thank you guys, more on that in the price segment. So yeah, two flavours, watermelon and the one we've got is fruit punch. Both very basic run-of-the-mill flavouring, well, flavours, should I say. So yeah, let's get this fruit punch in us and see. You know, it's not got too much in the label, it's kind of a small serving amount, so I would assume that the flavouring should be something that they could easily nail. So yeah, let's give it a go for you guys on camera right now. Yeah, that's really nice. And I can see the appeal for this type of pre-workout because it's super cheap. More on that in a minute. It tastes good, you know, the marketing's on point, so these are the angles that these guys are leaning into to get their sales, I would assume. But let me have another sip, I'll give you a score. Yeah, it's definitely a nice fruit punch. It's nice and sweet, it's not sour or anything. There's no nastiness to it at all. I'd actually say I'm leaning towards calling it delicious. It's a really good one. It's not a boring, generic fruit punch that you'd perhaps expect. It's almost got its own little twist on it, its own thing going on. So I'd happily give it a 9 out of 10. Really, really nice. And you know, that means that perhaps the watermelon could be just as nice. I guess you'll have to find out if you don't like fruit punch. Oh, and by the way, the mixability was good. I thought I'd just let you know. But as you'd expect, it's only a small serving amount, so it's not going to be bad, is it? So there we have it, guys. Okay, let's talk price of Psycho Sam then, shall we? And as I mentioned earlier, the cheapness of these products is the selling point for Insane Labs, and it's no different with this one. So if you head over to crossthelimits.co.uk, which is who kindly sent us down this pre-workout, cheers guys, you can use our discount code RB5%, that will knock off 5%, every little helps. You can pick this up for £22.75 for a full 30 serving tub, so that's always good to see. And if you break that down by the servings, it comes to only 76p a go. Very, very cheap, because on our consistent price scale that measures how expensive pre-workouts are, where a 5 out of 10 is the bang average price point, guess what this comes in at? It comes in at a 9.5 out of 10, so extremely cheap. Like, definitely noticeably cheap. So yeah, you can sort of see why it draws people's attention. So let's see what sort of pre-workout we're getting for that money though. You know, what's actually in it, how does it come together? That's the main important thing above anything else. So stick around and let's find out. Okay, let's dive into the label of Psycho Sam pre-workout. The Mad Chemist Edition. So what's it packing? So we got ourselves an 8.7 gram serving amount, which is probably almost half what you typically see as an average. Normally it's, I'd say, around 15 grams for the argument's sake. So yeah, for those of you that care, it is a lesser serving amount than what you would typically expect to see, but that doesn't always mean everything. So first up, we've got a couple of minerals from the pink Himalayan salt they got in here, some chloride and some sodium, general bodily function, nothing too exciting that you're necessarily going to feel in the product. Then we've got the Psycho Sam blend, consisting of 6,603 milligrams. So this is what we call a proprietary blend. For those of you who don't know, that means that all we know is the total figure, which I've just said, but we don't know the individual ingredient amounts. So the reason we don't like this, and many people don't like it, is of course you want to know exactly what you're taking, what's going in your body. It's always going to be a concern if you don't know how much caffeine you're taking, how much alpha-yohimbine you're taking. You know, you don't know how to anticipate it, and maybe that's how they lean into their products. They like the fact that you can't work it out until you've taken it, and then you're either on the floor dying, or I'm just being dramatic. But the point of the matter is, you don't know what you're taking. You don't know the exact amounts. But the only thing I can tell you is it should go in order of largest ingredient dose to lowest ingredient dose as I work my way through the blend. So first up, we've got beta-alanine, an amino acid, itchy, tingly sensation ingredient. I'm sure you all know it. I would like to think that this would take up at least a couple of grams, if not more, of that 6,603. So yeah, itchy, tingly ingredient, does help with your endurance when you take it for long enough. You build it up in your system, it helps with endurance. Then we've got L-citrulline malate, so notice how that's not pure L-citrulline, so that's going to eat more into that total amount, that's 6.6 grams. So, and a bit annoying, and I would anticipate, again, this will probably only be a couple of grams, you know, if that even. A bit upsetting to see. And then we've got the L-tyrosine, another amino acid that should help with your focus and concentration. So straight away, those three ingredients, if they're dosed correctly, would be more than 6,600. So we can say with almost certainty that those are going to be underdosed. I don't know. You could say beta-alanine 3 grams, L-citrulline 2 grams, there's 5, L-tyrosine another gram, there's 6, and then that only leaves 603 for the remainder, which I guess that might make sense. That's just me spitballing. Anyway, let's move on. So we've got caffeine and hydrous, obviously the main stimulant in any pre-workout is going to kick in, wake you up, get you moving. I would assume that they've got that in there at least a few hundred milligrams. Again, all I can do is assume and try and do the maths vaguely. Then we've got Infinergy, which is a trademark version of dicaffeine malate. That's a slow release caffeine. So yeah, that will kick in slower and drip feed throughout the latter part of your gym session. It's an anti-crash mechanism. Then we've got caffeine citrate, which is a very fast-acting caffeine. So what we call this the tri-caffeine complex. You know, you've got the citrate for fast-acting, the caffeine anhydrous for somewhere in the middle, and then the dicaffeine malate to kick in at the end. So we always like that, and we've always used that in any pre's that we've personally formulated. So yeah. Then we've got Rolfia vomitora extract, which is the one that I'm fearing the most, and that's alpha-yohimbine. And again, can't stress it enough, we don't know the amount, and that's actually what does scare me, because when it goes over 1.52 milligrams, that's when it busts me up. Because as you guys probably know if you've used it before, it gives you jitters, dribbles, anxiety. You know, it depends on the person, depends on the dose, but it can go down that route, like dribbly, salivary, jittery, ill, cold fever type feelings. It can go downhill fast, but some people love that. Some people like to get their ass kicked by the pre-workout. And if that wasn't enough already, oh, by the way, it should actually help with fat burning and energy if you didn't already know. Then we wrap off with yohimbine HCl, as if it weren't enough that we already had alpha yohimbine. They've gone and put in another source of yohimbine, so that's what they would call the yo-yo blend, having two different versions of it. This one's a little bit more subtle compared to the alpha yohimbine. It doesn't hit as hard, but it still has the same benefits in that it will help with your energy and fat burning capabilities. So yeah, interesting label. It's definitely going more heavily down the energy route, more so than anything else. So where they're claiming energy focused pumps and psycho on the front, I would say take the focus and pumps claims with a pinch of salt, because as I say, they're going to be underdosed. It's not going to do too much of anything. Based on that label and what I can work out, it's going to be an energy bomb, and any residuals that you get, you know, for focus and pump, it will just be off the back of that. So yeah, let's get into the effects and find out, shall we? But first of all, I've got to go train because I can feel this kicking in. So yeah, wish me luck, guys. I'll be back in about an hour and a half. Okay, dudes, just leaving the gym now after a nice juicy leg day on Psycho Sam. So, what do we think of it? Well, I mean, let's be honest, I think we all knew what was going to happen with this one. It's the same old story with these ones. and it's no different here. So, beta-alanine, let's just get that out of the way. I did feel it, so I do assume it's in here at least 2.5 grams, possibly 3, but enough to give you some tingles. So 5, 6 out of 10 on the tingle scale, like you definitely feel it. And I do think partly the reason why is it's not a massive serving amount, so there's not much getting in the way of the digestion of the beta-alanine. So yeah, it does kick in nicely. So that sets the scene straight away. Quickly following the beta-alanine is the heavy wallop of the caffeine citrate and the caffeine anhydrous. There's no denying it. It sets your heart rate up through the roof within about 20-30 minutes, and you are well on your way. And then shortly after that, in comes your old friends alpha himbine and your himbine HCl. They take maybe 40-45 minutes to kick in. So yeah, by about the 40-minute window, you're firing on all cylinders. You know, the beta-alanine's come and gone, the caffeine's well into your system. You know, the alpha himbine and the himbine HCl settled in, like you are all guns are blazing. But I'd say that you're good to start training after about half an hour, and then, you know, the rest sort of comes in as you're doing your first couple of sets. So yeah, it's a very strong pre-workout, guys, from an energy standpoint. From a focus and a pump standpoint, I'm just going to get that out of the way now and say that you don't really get anything from those elements. Obviously, you get a bit of focus off the back of the stimulants, but, you know, it's not like a feel-good, nootropic, super dialed-in kind of feeling. It's just an insane energy drive rocket that goes up your ring piece, and then that's what makes you train, and that's what makes you stay focused. So it's absolutely a survival mode pre-workout. If you are someone that doesn't like either beta-alanine or alpha himbine, it's going to be a no shot right out of the gate, because it's got 2 Marmite ingredients that people either love or hate. So it's twice the chance of you might not want to buy it. But yeah, it's definitely a stim junkie pre. I think we all knew that going into this review. So obviously it's not suitable for beginners, it's not suitable for intermediate. It's for stim junkies that love an absolute rocket energy kick up the arse, that love that your himbine feeling. However, what I will say, which I was pleasantly surprised by, is that the himbine, the alpha yo at least, didn't feel excessive. Like, it was definitely noticeable, but it wasn't life-ruiningly bad. Like, I didn't have literal dribble coming out of my mouth like I've had in the past with some higher dosages, like literally struggling to speak, where you're like, it didn't cause me an insane amount of jitters to the point where I thought I was going to die from the alpha himbine. Didn't really give me any cold sweats or nothing like that. I felt like it's on the edge of doing those things. Like I could sort of see it peeking around the corner, some of those effects, but they didn't fully come into fruition. Now, take that with a pinch of salt, because that is going to be person dependent. There will be people that take this and you are just more sensitive to it, and vice versa. But for me personally, it was just maybe putting a bit of a toe over the edge of what I can handle, but not off the cliff face, you know? So I was able to still train effectively on it. However, what I will say is that it did impede my breathing. It did, because it sent my heart rate up so high. I'm talking like 30 to 40 beats per minute higher than the average of what it would typically be. And I've got my Apple Watch to prove it. I was checking it throughout the gym session. I got off doing some squats and it was like 170. And I get that squats are a hard exercise and it's going to shoot your heart rate up, but I know from previous experience it doesn't go that high when I've done a set of squats. It was high before I'd even started the set. I don't think my heart rate even was in the single digits from the minute I started training. It was triple digits from start to end. So obviously if you are someone that panics or gets scared, you've got a bit of anxiety already, and with pre-workouts in general, this might put you over the edge and scare you. So like I said, only seasoned pre-workout users this is suitable for, and only people that specifically don't mind beta-alanine and alpha-himbine. So it's definitely a pre-workout that you're gonna feel it. It's very visceral. So if you've got any friends that say, oh, pre-workouts don't work on me, give them this one, because there's no way that they're not gonna feel it. There's no way. Not unless they're like 400 pounds or some shit and they just tank it. So yeah, it's a very strong pre-workout, and especially when you factor in the bang for buck, you know, the amount of power that you're getting for the small serving amount is not to be argued with, is it? Let's be honest. And I do think that's what pushes this brand, is that bang for buck element. People aren't buying this for clinical dosages, for their pumps and endurance and nootropics. Let's be honest, they're buying it for a stim bomb. And obviously if you are wanting to train and not build up a pump, maybe you do more strength-based training, then yeah, it might be more ideal for you because it's not getting you unnecessary pumps that you don't want. However, in that exact same breath, I would say that it could potentially impede you doing strength training because of the oxygen uptake element. It really does feel like it gasses you out faster than you otherwise would. So swings and roundabouts. I do think it has a place, it does have an audience, but you have to be very careful with this one, because if you misuse it, you're going to end up in a bad way, and that's just the bottom line. So negatives, as I said, you do get some of those alpha yo negatives, but for me, not crushing. It was handleable, like I could get through the gym session without wanting to give up or keel over or anything. And I would say it does suppress your appetite. Like I don't feel hungry at all, and I'm like an hour or two behind eating my lunch at this point. It's like nearly 3 o'clock, so I'm well overdue my lunch. I definitely think it would keep you up all night if you took it any time from evening onwards, like dinner time onwards. You'd have trouble sleeping for sure. So yeah, between avoid, shortlist and buy, I would have to say shortlist it with the outline of what I've already said. So for people that want specifically a stim junkie energy experience for as cheap a price as possible, I can recommend it to you guys, but I would say for most people it's just probably not going to be ideal. It's just too much. It's just too much. It's for that niche 1% of people that want something that's going to slap you up. So yeah, I think definitely go on and check it out on Cross the Limits if it's something that sounds right to you. And I will say that Cross the Limits is a fantastic website, especially for people that live in the UK, because as you know, over here it's harder to get your hands on some of these illicit crazy ones, these underground ones. Cross the Limits have you covered. They sell all kinds of slappers, anything from the more euphoric mental ones to the ones like I've mentioned today that are more of an energy bomb, all the way to non-stims, healthy ones, fat burners, you name it, they've got it. And our discount code RB5% will work on anything on the website, obviously giving you 5% off. We don't get any kickback, by the way, just to get that out there. It just helps you guys out, and it shows obviously that Cross the Limits are getting some sort of benefit from working with us and sending us down pre-workouts. So it's a win-win scenario, because the more interest they get, the more pre-workouts we get sent, we can review, yada yada yada. Everyone holds hands and cheers around in a little circle together. So yeah, go on and check them out is what I'm saying. So I think that's everything, guys. Yeah, I think I've covered everything. It's quite a simple one, because obviously the only factor you've got to look at is the energy. So yeah, for the risk of waffling on, I will leave it there, but let me know your experience of Insane Labs pre-workouts. What do you think of them? Do you think they're too strong to even be feasibly used? Do you think there's just too much, like going deer hunting with a rocket launcher? Or do you think that this type of pre-workout is how pre-workout should be? You know, something that's going to unequivocally kick your ass. So yeah, let me know your thoughts and feelings down below. Anything else you want to see us review, drop it down below and we'll do our best to get hold of it. As always, stay stimmed.